Here we have another 5-minute math lesson. Section 1.12a, Basic Metric Units of Length. In this 5-minute lesson, we'll be covering the meter, the decimeter, the centimeter, and the millimeter. Kilometer will be covered in a different lesson. If you have the worksheet, use the worksheet to read up on the history of the meter. Let's start talking about exactly what a meter is. What is 1 meter? All right, this is a meter stick. This is a meter stick. It's a giant ruler. All right, now 1 meter is approximately the height from the floor to a doorknob on a standard door. Other people might say that, for example, a meter is about the length of an adult's leg, all right, approximately. All right, so 1 meter from here to here, all right, it's about, all right, actually it's exactly that long, all right, that's 1 meter. And if you were to put this down on the floor, from the floor to a doorknob would be approximately a length of 1 meter. What is 1 decimeter? Well, 1 decimeter is approximately the width of a human hand, an adult hand. So right across the person's palm, that's about 1 decimeter in length. All right, now, if you take a meter stick, all right, and you count the number of decimeters, all right, so for example, from here to here is 1 decimeter, approximately the width of a human hand. So how many decimeters are there in 1 meter? Let's see. This is a meter. This is a decimeter. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are exactly 10 decimeters in 1 meter. So yes, 1 meter equals 10 decimeters. Now let's write that out first. 1 meter equals 10 decimeters. All right, and then if we want to write the abbreviations, 1 meter, little m, equals 10 dm, that's decimeters. All right, so 1 meter equals 10 decimeters. So now what that also means is that one of these decimeters is 1/10 of a meter. 1 decimeter is 1/10, 0.1 is 1/10 of a meter. So what you see is that you can write the math or you can say it in words. 1m equals 10 dm is saying in words 1 meter is the same as 10 decimeters. Here, 1 decimeter is the same as 1/10 of a meter. All right, so looking at this one more time, all right, 1 meter is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 decimeters, or 1 decimeter right there is 1/10 of the whole meter. All right, so that's what a decimeter is. Now, for example, that means that 2 meters would be 20 decimeters. That means that a half a meter, 0.5 is 1/2, a half a meter, well, if a whole meter is 10 decimeters, then a half a meter is 5 decimeters. Okay, so that's a decimeter, about the width of a human palm. So now what about a centimeter? What's a centimeter? A centimeter is a unit of length that is about the width of a human pinky. All right, so going across your finger this way, all right, right there, see the arrows? Going across your finger, that's approximately 1 centimeter. So now let's look at how many centimeters there are in a meter. So here's the meter. Now 1 decimeter, we said that 1 decimeter was from here to here. Right, that's 1 decimeter. And 1 decimeter, in 1 decimeter, let's see how many centimeters there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 centimeters in 1 decimeter. So now let's count how many centimeters there are in the whole meter. Well, remember, every decimeter from here to here, right? Every decimeter is 10 centimeters. So this would be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 centimeters in 1 meter. All right, 1 meter is the same as 100 centimeters. Now we can write that as abbreviations. 1m for meter equals 100 centimeters. And what that means is that one tiny little centimeter, 1 centimeter, is 100th, all right, 0.01 of the whole meter. 1 centimeter is 100th of the big meter. All right? So we said that a decimeter, right, from here to here, or here to here, whatever, all right, that's 1 decimeter, is 10 centimeters. There are 10 decimeters in the meter, and if each of those decimeters is 10 centimeters, you've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. You could count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 100 if you like. I prefer to count by tens. 1 meter is therefore 100 centimeters. All right, so then, what else could you figure out easily? Well, 2 meters, how many centimeters would that be? That would be 200 centimeters. Half a meter, well, if a whole meter is 100 centimeters, then half a meter is 50 centimeters. Let's look at that. Half a meter is right here. That's a whole meter. Half a meter is from here to here. Half a meter is 50 centimeters, right there. That much. Half a meter is 50 centimeters. Well, if a whole meter is 100 centimeters, then of course a half a meter is 50 centimeters. Moving on to the millimeter. Now, what is a millimeter? Well, look at the meter again. These tiny, itty-bitty, tiniest lines are millimeters. And from here to here, there are 100 of those tiny little lines. From here to here, there are 100 millimeters. So let's count how many millimeters there are in a meter. All right, if that's 100, right? Let's count. That's 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000 little tiny itty bitty millimeters is the same as 1 meter. 1 meter equals 1,000 millimeters. Now you can write that in abbreviations. You can write 1 meter equals 1,000 millimeters. And that means that 1 millimeter would be 1,000th of a meter. One teeny itty bitty little itty bitty teeny line that I'm sure you can't see from there, right, would be 1,000th of the whole meter. All right, so what you've got here is you've got 100, 200, 300, 400. All right, here's another 100. That makes 500. 600. We're counting by hundreds. 700, 800, 900, 1,000 little tiny itty bitty millimeters in 1 meter. So how big is that teeny itty bitty millimeter? Well, it's about the width of a period on a page. If you look at a dot on a page, a period, or a decimal point on a piece of paper, that's about 1 millimeter wide. Millimeters are very, very small. All right, so for example, if this whole meter stick is 1,000 millimeters, what would half the meter stick? Half a meter would be 500 millimeters, right? What would 3 meters be? 3 meters would be 3 of these. 3,000 little itty bitty millimeters. All right? So what you've got here, this is a meter. It's about the height from the floor to the doorknob. You've got a decimeter. So what do we have here in the way of basic metric units? We've got the meter. The meter, if you stand it this way, is about the height from the floor up to a doorknob. That's about 1 meter. Then you've got 1 palm. Your palm is about 1 decimeter. It's about from here to here. Right? That's 1 decimeter. There are 10 of those in the meter. Then you've got the little centimeter. The centimeter is about the width of your pinky, and there are 100 centimeters in the meter. And finally, the tiniest unit is the little itty bitty millimeter, approximately the width of a period on a page, and there are 1,000 millimeters in a meter.